fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
What's up, guys? It's Joe Simons, like diamonds, back again, Salt Strong Unchurched. Wow, Benjamin Franklin shaking his head down at me right now. So if you missed, I guess 2 episodes ago, I talked about these 13 really just kind of habits that I want to get better at and improve upon. And what Benjamin Franklin did was every week for 13 weeks, he would focus on one particular thing. In his case, it was a weakness, if you will, something that he was struggling with and wanted to get better at, to become kind of a perfect man, a perfect human, a man of God. And I changed his around a little bit because I didn't have the same issues he did. We're all, a little bit different. And there's some things that we all kind of struggle with. And number one is probably something that almost everyone struggles with, I'm guessing. And so I put it first. And it was no negative thoughts or words or deeds. So here's the great news. I didn't do any negative deeds. Like, I didn't do anything that was illegal or bad or made me feel guilty. But doggone it, I had a ton of negative thoughts and quite a few negative words over the past week. It was, I have to say, it was an epic fail. Now that we're just saying there's a negative thing already. I'm already saying negative stuff here in this podcast. But I wanted to be honest with you because this is something that I just struggle with. And I know most of us do. And I think it's easy to almost justify it in this mostly kind of negative world of social media and stuff that's out there, where people are just smart alecks and they're quick to condemn and to, just honestly just be negative and to say bad things. And I don't know, I found myself so many times losing my patience and either having negative thoughts or even saying something. Now, it's good and bad news. I think, the bad news is a lot of times when we say negative words or even deeds, it's with people we're closest with. And I'm not talking about even social media. That's stuff that, keyboard warriors. But I'm talking about the things that maybe we regret sometimes, or a lot of times, things that we say to people who are close to us. And for me, it's kids. I mean, young kids can just absolutely drive you mad sometimes. They're the light of your life. They make everything worth it. It's one of the best investments that you can ever make. And there's nothing like having a kid. But at the same point, for all of you parents out there and grandparents, that especially when they're young, and I'm sure it's especially even when they're 30 and 40, my parents are probably shaking their head at me right now on some things I do, but when they're young and just still trying to learn, and they're pushing the boundaries every which way possible, and usually at the absolute worst times when you've had a long day and you're lacking sleep, it just, I said some things I wish I hadn't. And I'll just leave it at that. And if you're wondering, actually, I'll just tell you, we rarely ever, and we always try to just be as patient as possible with the kids. And all 3 of them were yelling at each other. They were, I'm talking like, imagine 3 young kids, a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, 2 of them having tantrums, and the 9-year-old kind of stirring the pot, and all of them literally screaming. I have stuff going on. My phone's ringing. And I literally yelled, "Shut up," as loud as I could. And I've only done that with them a couple of times in my life. And I felt horrible. It certainly got their attention, and they were quiet real quick. And that was after me asking them, at least 8 to 9 times in a short amount of period that, hey, guys, I have something going on. Please, please, please be quiet. Please, guys, let's, chime down. Jackson, go upstairs. None of them are listening to me. And I literally just lost it on them. And I'm talking about like scream, like neighbors are probably, wondering what's going on in our house scream. And I felt horrible. I apologized to all 3 of them. But I had a couple just scenarios like that where that was the worst one that really stood out. But things that I don't know, I said stuff and even just, talking behind people's backs. And I don't mean like that. Don't think, oh man, Joe's really jerk. But it's more the gossiping stuff like, oh, hey, did you hear this about so-and-so? And usually I rarely start that conversation, but I don't know. It's crazy how we are as just humans, and the whole gossip thing where someone says something about someone else, even if it's not necessarily bad, and it's almost like you want to trumpet, oh yeah, well, did you hear about so-and-so, getting divorced or whatever it is, and you just go down this path of negative and just hurtful, and it's just gossip. It's not good. It doesn't benefit anyone, and honestly, it doesn't even make you look better. You might feel better sometimes putting someone else down or talking about them and putting them in a negative light, but it's horrible. And we know we hate it when you hear someone else saying something about you through, a third party or whoever else repeats something. And I don't know. I just want to throw all that out there because I'm willing to bet there's others like me that have struggled with this and have found themselves in similar scenarios where you either have negative thoughts, you've yelled at kids or spouse or coworkers or whatever it might be, or had horrible thoughts, or even just the gossiping part. That's probably one of the biggest ones, especially now that I've just been so cognizant about this rule for the whole week. I've watched myself, I've watched other people, I've noticed really closely just in conversation. And maybe it's because we're nervous just as humans, and the whole small talk. Like, I hate small talk. It makes me so uncomfortable, especially if it's someone who, is, I hadn't seen in a while. Maybe I wasn't that close with. I don't even know what to say to him. And you're almost like, oh, hey, did you hear about so-and-so? Maybe someone we had a mutual connection with. I don't know if it's a way to kind of connect people, like by gossiping about stuff, but I don't know. I wish I could put an end to it. And that has just been one of the toughest ones. And I've just seen it over and over again, just in this past week with some people I've run into, that the gossip just comes up so fast. And it was so easy for me to get sucked right into it. Like, I was excited to hear about some of this. Oh, I haven't heard this. Tell me what happened. Oh, have you heard about so-and-so? Did you hear about this? Oh, tell me what happened. Oh gosh. What's wrong with this? And I go right back as soon as the conversation's over. I almost felt like dirty and guilty. I'm like, gosh, what did I just do? Like, why am I getting involved in this? Why was I excited about hearing the gossip about someone else's downfall or whatever? I don't know. And I hope you guys appreciate I'm sharing this with you, but it's been a struggle. This has been one of the toughest weeks trying to perfect something that I think is just a really bad habit, and probably for a lot of us. So be praying for me. I have to move on to week number 2, which I'm really excited about because this is all about thinking in terms of others' interests. So that was my week number 2, is just thinking in terms of others' interests. That means when I am having a conversation, or I am, working with someone, or even, just at a restaurant, giving a tip, just lavish with love and put their interest first in negotiations, in talking, and just in general, to put other people first ahead of myself. And that's, I think, once again, I think it's part of how we're wired as humans. And as children of God, that's just one of our little flaws that, deep down, we're all kind of a little bit selfish. And we're all still interested in ourselves and what this will do for me and how does this benefit me, et cetera. So I'm excited about this one, and I already have some, some pretty cool ideas of things that I want to try to do to some people I'm around and some of my loved ones, and hopefully make it up to my kids as well. But with that number 1, doggone, and if I don't know if I finished the whole Ben Franklin thing. So, every 13 weeks, it was 13 different things that he would focus on. He would repeat it because 13 weeks is about 90 days. So it's about a quarter of the year, and he would repeat it. So throughout the year, you would do each of these 4 times and continually get better, right? So the first round, if you will, the first round of 13 weeks is going to be your worst one. And I hope you're going to do this with me. If not, you should, but also go back and listen to the first one. And I'll read all 13 off that I'm doing personally. And you can obviously do whatever the heck you want with yours. You can use mine. You can use my little list. You can go straight to Ben Franklin's list, or have a little hybrid of your own. But I'm really excited to see how much I improve on round 2 for the no negative thoughts, words, deeds. And I'm going to just write in gossip as well, because that was one that I didn't even have written down, but I saw myself getting sucked into that so many times. So no negative thoughts or words or deeds or gossip. So now this coming week, think in terms of others' interest. Excited about that one. Number 3 is silence, which just means listening more. That doesn't mean I'm going to go mute for an entire week, but I'm for at least me, I'm quick to talk. I'm quick to give my opinion too often sometimes, especially when I know the answer, instead of just letting other people finish their sentences and speak. So I'm going to work on silence, which is really just listening more for me in week 3. Number 4 is smile. Choose to be happy. That's one that's pretty easy for me, but I just want to do it to the next level where people are saying dude, you just seem like you're happy. I want people to call me Jovial Joe for that week. Jovial Joe. Write that down. Send me a text. Send me an email. Jovial Joe, week number 4. Number 5, appreciation and praise. That means I will be giving it out, not telling myself and patting myself on the back. So appreciation and praise to others. Number 6 is moderation. That means moderation in everything, including the pretzels that I like to eat every single night. Sometimes can't stop eating those delicious flavored pretzels. Just moderation in everything, from alcohol on the weekends to eating to just literally anything that you find yourself personally indulging in. Try to work on that for moderation. That's going to be week number 6. Week number 7 is health. Focus on health, working out, eating better, better foods, right? Saying no to dessert in some of those super tasty, although bad snacks like eating pretzels and a bunch of carbs at night. Week number 8, love and kindness. Similar to appreciation and praise, but just lathering people with love and overall kindness. Number 9 is order and cleanliness. I'm looking at my desk right here as I speak to you, and it's quite the mess right now. A lot going on, and I've got a million excuses, but it's quite the mess. And I want to have a whole week of just focusing on order and simplifying everything and keeping it super, super clean. Number 10, tranquility. That means don't be disturbed and don't get stressed out by anything. I'm talking calm as can be, tranquility. I'm pumped about that one. And of course, I know what's going to happen. The devil's going to throw all kinds of stuff at me that week, but I am going to be ready for it. I am going to be tranquil. Number 11, this is week number 11, generosity. Just being giving at every opportunity you have. Number 12 is action. That's going to be the week where I'm putting a lot of this stuff into play, and I am just taking massive action on everything. No procrastination, only action. And then 13 is humility. And I wrote down in quotes, be like Jesus. Just humility in everything I do, in all my interactions, etc. So I'm pumped to do these. I hope you'll do them with me. I already got some great feedback from the first one where I shared all this. And I will be giving updates on how this goes over time. I wanted to share this one in particular because it was a really brutal, tough one for me. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about others. And I was even to add the word gossip on there because that was one that was probably my biggest pitfall was just all the gossip I found myself getting into. And just do it yourself. Just spend the next week and just listen on how much gossip goes on in conversations and in work and at home and just day-to-day interactions. It's sad and scary. And it's something I'm definitely going to work on. So love you guys. I'd love to hear from you. Joe@saltstrong.com is my email. And of course, it's saltstrong.com/unchurched. I put all these episodes up there. Sometimes I'm a few days late. Some of you remind me of that. Sundays are tough. That's definitely a family day for me. That's when these obviously go live. And so sometimes it takes me a couple days to actually make the post. I'm usually not sitting there in front of my computer on a Sunday trying to put those up. So if you can, just be patient with me. But I always put them up saltstrong.com/unchurched, and you'll see every episode there, and you can leave me a message. Those come right to my inbox as well at joe@saltstrong.com, and I try to get back with every single one. So I appreciate you so much. Hope you have an amazing week this coming week, depending on what day you're listening to this. And if I could do anything to serve you, let me know, or any prayer request, please do let me know. I am out, and I'll talk to you on the next Unchurched.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was past